I'm going to show you how simple it is to start up the Certiflow equipment. You'll have a training manual or a product manual in every single water treatment system. This manual is several pages long, has a copy of the warranty on the back of it. This will have installation instructions, so much that there's really no need for me to go into the stuff that's in this manual. This has advanced programming, really nothing that we need to do in the initial startup of the equipment. We've added a yellow page that's called the Quick Startup Guide, as you can see. And this goes through the simple steps of how to start the softener up. But I'm going to show you how easy it is to start the softener up, and we'll just go through the cycle. Now, the first thing you're going to do, of course, is plug the water treatment system in. And when you plug the water treatment system in, the time of day is going to come up. Now, the first thing you have to do is you have to set this system for the time of day, which is right now. What time is it? Right now while you're installing it. So I'm going to push the clock button. It's going to start flashing. I'm going to go up to the time of day that it is. I'm going to press the clock button again. I'm going to go to the exact same minutes of the time of day that it is. And I'm going to set clock again. Now that locks it into the computer. That is going to keep track of the time of day. And remember, inside of the system, there's an internal battery that's going to keep track of the time of day. And that battery is a rechargeable battery and shouldn't need to be changed. It literally will keep track of the time of day for several days if the power were off for several days. So the time should never have to be reset. The only thing you would ever do, if from daylight savings time, you may want to change it, but it doesn't make that much difference whether you do that or not. Now, the instruction manual tells you that the next part you have to do is set the hardness of the water. So we want to set the hardness of the water, and we want to do the hardness test. And it's critical we do this because the water softener doesn't know when to clean itself if you do not do that. Now, this unit's a 70,000 grain softener, so the internal electronics, we programmed at the factory. We told it was a 70,000 grain softener and how often it needed to clean itself. Now, the first thing you're going to do here is you're going to check your hardness. We're going to set this for 2 grains above what the hardness is. So we're going to push the up and the next button at the same time and hold it down. That's going to come up with the factory hardness we send out. Now, this factory hardness will change as to the location where we send this equipment out to, but this location, the water averages 20 grains hard. Now, when I checked the water, however, the water was only 12 grains hard at this location. So I want to take this down with the down arrow to 2 above. So I'm going to set it at 14 grains hard. I go ahead and I push the next button. When you push the next button, that locks it into the computer forever. That's what the Novram Electronics means. It's going to lock it in, and it's never going to lose that memory unless you go back in and change that memory. Now, in every system, when we certified that, they told us that the life expectancy of the system would be almost double if we didn't go too long without cleaning it. Now, if we could clean it twice a month at the very longest in between cleaning cycle, it would double the life expectancy of the media inside of there. So at the factory, we set up an override for the regeneration cycle. Now, this can be changed, of course, if you want to change it and turn it off, or you want to set it higher or lower. But this system is going to be metered. It's going to clean itself when it needs to, but at the factory, we set that at a 14-day override. So if you want to turn that off, just push the up arrow or down arrow, but we want to leave that at 14 days because we don't want to go too long in between cleaning cycle. So if it hasn't used up the amount of water that you would need on a regeneration cycle or in the metering, it's going to clean anyway on the 14th night. So we're just going to skip past that and go to next, and this is the time of day it cleans itself. These are the only 3 settings you can change. You can change the time it cleans itself, but we want this to clean at 2 o'clock in the morning on a normal basis because that's the time people are not using water. And this goes into a bypass mode when this cleans itself. So very seldom do we have somebody showering at 2 o'clock in the morning or using water. But if they work graveyard, you might want to switch this from AM to PM. Now you're going to go ahead and push next 2 more times, and you're back to time of day. Now, at this point is where we're ready to turn the water in. Now we want to turn the main water into the house, which I've already done here. And so the main water's already in the house. And in the back, of course, we have our bypass valve. Now the bypass valve has the red levers that you're going to turn. Now, in order to start up any water softener, the startup on, it doesn't matter what brand, we never ever want to turn the water in from the top going down. We want that water to come into the water softener, into the distributor tube, and down through the top of the unit and come in from the bottom and fill it from the bottom up, and then the water and air will go out the drain. So now we're ready to clean ourselves, but we want this in a backwash cycle in order to do that. So if you look at the startup page, it tells you hold the regen button down and leave this in bypass. Do not turn it in any water into it till it's in a backwash cycle. Now, the first cycle in all of our equipment is a fill cycle. The fill cycle is going to put the right amount of water in the brine tank. Now, everything's brand new inside this system. It's ready to soften. The exchange sites have nothing on them, so we don't need any salt in this or any brine to clean it because everything's brand new. Now it tells you go ahead and press the regen button again once you hear it turn into cycle. Now, it shows 199 minutes till it completes the cycle, but what it's going to do is it's going to sit here for 3 hours and make a brine solution. Well, we don't need any water in the brine tank to make that, so that it tells you to push the button one more time on the regen. Now you'll see it'll turn, and it's going to say backwash. As soon as you see it say backwash, and it's going to backwash for 8 minutes, on the inlet side, slowly turn the water in. As you slowly turn the water in, and do not open it up all the way. We want this to fill up, and we want the drain to be opened, and the backwash does that, and all the air is going to go down the drain. So we slowly turn the water in, and do not turn it in too fast. And you can hear it coming in, and I've just barely got the inlet cracked. So the air is going down the drain at this point. The equipment is filling up with water, and we just let it run on this backwash. The air is going to go down the drain. We're going to leave it in this position until we only have 1 minute left on the backwash. And at that point, we can go ahead and turn it completely in, and we've got 7 minutes left. So this is going to fill up, and at 1 minute is what we're going to change to the next control on this. As soon as you hear the water going to drain, you can turn the valve the rest of the way on to full open. And just let it run until we have 1 minute left in the backwash. Once we have 1 minute left in the backwash cycle, we're going to advance this by pressing the regen button and let it go to the next cycle. Now I'm going to press the regen one time, and it's going to turn to the next cycle. Now this next cycle, it says, is the brine draw cycle. Now we do not need any brine right now, so now it'll tell you press the regen button one more time. Skip the brine cycle, there's no purpose for it. Now we go into the second backwash cycle. The startup is complete. You're going to leave the valve the way it is. You're going to let it finish rinsing. On the resin inside of a water softener, they put a chemical on that resin so that it doesn't grow bacteria. And what we're doing in the rinse cycle is we're sterilizing the equipment with that chemical that's been put on the resin, but it's going to rinse that down the drain. And a lot of times that chemical will come out with a yellow or an orange color, and so we want to rinse that down the drain. It's not harmful, it's like a chlorine type material, but it's going to rinse down the drain, and it's going to make sure you don't end up with that yellow in the water heater or yellow throughout the house. So just let that finish through the cycle, and your backwash, your startup is complete. In about 11 minutes, the house will be on soft water. See. Now that you've completed the complete startup cycle, it's time to turn the outlet valve on completely, and you're on soft water.